It starts from here. Oh, I know, right? Oh. Alright, so what I'm talking about with you today is the various forms of martial arts that incorporate into what we know as like UFC, Pride. Basically, those are called mixed martial arts fighting. It's a bunch of arts that are formed into what they fight. And since there's so many derived from these main points, I only picked what I believe was the most important of them all. You see in the video earlier, you saw that there are people punching, kicking in the face, throwing guys down. Those are all forms of certain martial arts. And if you were to look into them, they're very, I'll say, difficult to express. They're not like some sort of God-given talent where they're born with it. They just whoop some ass, you know? It's not like that. Months, years, decades of training, conditioning, eating right, all forms into what they call mixed martial arts. And my first slide right here, which is called Jiu-Jitsu, it's basically a ground game. Basically, you're on the floor, you're doing grappling, throws, blocks, whatever you can do to get the person to pin them down and for them to commit submission. Basically, Jiu-Jitsu started around 1532 to 16th century in Japan. Derived from other things, many people say it came from Greece. But honestly, I believe it started in Japan first. So what it does, I said earlier, is grapples and locks. As you can see right here, this guy has thrown him over into an arm bar, which eventually you cannot see, but he does it anyway. Basically, an arm bar is what they do. Grab your arm, pull it back, so that your joint up here goes the opposite way. And if you apply enough force, I believe if it was 35 to 50 pounds of pressure, it will go the other way. And it's not a pretty sight. And in this picture, this is a defensive as well as an offensive move. What it does is called the triangle lock. He's holding his arm, he holds his head in as to show that the other guy cannot grab him, putting his legs around him to create more mobility. There's only one defense problem. If he's strong enough, he can just pick him up and just throw him down. Most of the times, it's not that, it's pretty hard to do that. And there are also many other styles that derive from Jiu-Jitsu. For example, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, and Aikido, which are also forms basically from this. Next up is Muay Thai. Basically, it's from the 14th or 18th century in Thailand. Many people don't really know where it's from, only because Thailand was invaded many times, and a lot of times when they get invaded, all their libraries, records were destroyed when they were invaded. So they say it's around that time. Now what Muay Thai is that they use a variety of punches, kicks, elbows, knees, clinches, whatever they can do in a standing game. Basically what that is you gotta stand up and fight. And as you see right here, he's using his foot as well to kick him in the neck. In Muay Thai, almost anything goes except for low blows. And anything under around there, that kind of sucks though, so they made that illegal. As you see, it's very effective because you use most of your body parts, and the conditioning they use, it toughens their body up. For example, many times when they train, they'll just kick a tree. Just kicking a tree until you just can't feel your legs anymore. That way, when you kick the opponent's head, you're not going to feel it, so you're going to kick them again, and again, until they're on the floor. You're not even moving. I see right here is, in its original language, it's actually called coyote. Basically what that is a side kick into there. I cannot do it because my pants are too tight. And as you see here, he's using his elbow and his fist. So what it happens, go up and two. That is called a T-sok. As well as over here, I'm sorry for bad picture resolution. It's called a cross, like in regular boxing, but they call it Wood Trong. Basically, all these forms are used in a variety of combinations to bring the opponent down. And as I said earlier, once you have the opponent down, if you mix your arts together, you have jujutsu to, finish them off. Kick them when they're down. All right. Next one is called Taekwondo. This as well as a standing game, but instead of using your arms, knees, and all that other stuff, it's basically speed, kicks. And as you see here, this guy could kick him in the face, so that kind of sucks. And as well as this one came from an Olympic fight. As you can see, they're using Olympic grade sparring material, which I actually have at home. Not very comfortable, by the way. And you can see all the gear they use. And this one's called a jumping side kick, as they did earlier, as you jump up. And basically from this, all these styles came from Korea around 600 AD. It was actually derived from an earlier form around the BC times, but it's not mentioned when, and it's called Taekyon. Taekyon. Hear that? As well, basically what they do kicks like side kicks, back kicks, roundhouse kicks, all those kind of kicks to do to bring the opponent down. Basically, most of these kicks are aimed for the head or the stomach. And this is my final slide, which is called boxing. Basically, boxing originated in Greece around 700 AD, and it was actually originally a Olympic sport back then. Basically what it is, it's also a group standing game. But unlike Taekwondo and Muay Thai, it's mostly punching and all those stuff. As you can see here, this is Pacquiao going in for a cross into his face. As you see, it's blurred out. It kind of hurts. And basically what they do is that they just keep punching. They use straight forwards, hooks, crosses, hooks, whatever they can do, as well as using their form. Because the most basic thing you have to know in a standing game is your feet stance as well. If you can't move around correctly, you're not going to be able to hit them. If you can't hit them, you're going to get hit and you're going to go down. And you see here, this is what happens when you don't use your feet correctly. This guy's done. He's done. Overall, what I believe is that if you use these main four martial arts, and if you actually try to, attempt to be in a mixed martial arts match, if you use these four correctly, condition correctly, exercise, and figure out how to do it all, you become like the next Anderson Silva or this guy.
So Maria, you here?
Yeah.
What did you think?
I thought it was a good overall speech. I like the attention from the video. And I did a good thesis statement and a preview. And I like how he gave a background or history of each martial arts and explained each one. And I like how he explained all of his visual aids really well, and he demonstrated it and reenacted things. And I also liked how he tied in all the martial arts into each other. Like every time you went to a new martial art, he would talk about how the other one would supplement it, or how you can incorporate things together. And he had good transitions. And the only thing I would say is that I didn't hear any citation of the sources, but I liked it. Overall, I liked it. It was very strong.
All right. Well, I thought that the video for the visual attention device was fine. We know what the general subject area is. I wasn't quite clear on what the thesis was. To me, it sounded like it was, and with the visual that you put up next, it sounded like you were going to talk about how jiu-jitsu was at the basis of all of the mixed martial arts issues. But then that's not really the way it developed. It turned out that that was the first of the four supporting martial arts that you're going to be talking about. So I think that needed to be clear. There wasn't really a preview of what the body of the speech was going to be. In essence, we're just learning about each of those martial arts as they come up. Now, internally, it's clear there's